Hac lacrimarum valle, ea ergo advocata nostra, illos tuos misericordies oculos ad nos converte, et Iesum benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilio ostende. O clemens.
I was a member in several Catholic youth organizations when I was young, but I did not know anybody who was gay or lesbian. I had nobody to talk about it. Twice I talked to priests, but this was not helpful for me. Later I got contact with the group Homosexuelle und Kirche, Homosexuals and Church. I found this contact, I was very happy. I had the feeling, this is my home, this can be my home in the church.
He wrote in some gay newspaper looking for a friend, and I answered, and so we got to know in '72.
And the HuK started in '77. By chance I went to a meeting of Protestant people in Berlin, and went to Christian socialists, which I was interested in. And by chance there was a paper asking gay people to assemble, and so I went in the evening, and this small group which gathered in the evening was the nucleus of the HuK.
It's coming back in my mind when I first come into HuK Frankfurt as a gay man. I opened the door and there were 30 people. Then we had the General Assembly with the HuK at that time, and I came to the big assembly in autumn or in spring, doesn't matter. You opened the door and the big hall was filled with 150, 180 people. And this, you said, oh, I'm not alone, what a big thing.
In the same year there was a meeting in Frankfurt in a parish, and I think about 100 people gathered and were enthusiastic, and there were no borders between old and young. It was not the usual gay culture among gay people. It was, we could talk about faith, we could talk about sexuality freely, which is not the usual topic in gay.
Adolescent, I sang in a church choir in my hometown where I was raised, and there were very religious people in this church choir, and some of them had a very strict opinion of homosexuality, and they uttered some statements that homosexuals should be thrown into the gas chamber like Auschwitz, and that this was a very strong experience for me to hear people with whom I sang in the church choir, who personally I liked very much as persons, but then I got to learn of their beliefs in concern of homosexuality, and this was a very harsh experience, and I thought, these are Christians.
For me it was quite impossible to think about being active, being politically active in the Catholic Church, and I always wanted to spread these two things, my belief, my religion on the one side, and that I'm a gay man on the other side. And then I met a Catholic service for gays and lesbians, and this was when I started to realize that it belongs together in my person. And only some or many years later I joined the HuK and began to tell about that.
So, for me, HuK is important because there I can find people who are in quite the same situation as I am, as far as humiliations from other Christians are concerned, for example. And it's also important to live faith with other gays and lesbians in a secure and protected room area where no one disturbs you as far as your spirituality is concerned. It is also important to go public and outside, but sometimes it is also good to have an undisturbed atmosphere and undisturbed space where you can be yourself.
Looking back with all my fears and being very anxious about my sexual orientation, I think HuK has done a lot to encourage people to develop their personality, to find their coming out, and to join in an ecumenical fellowship of Christians, which is really producing a very open community and a very deep society within the Church.
The point that I'm gay is nothing wrong with, I could not see that there is nothing wrong with me that I am a gay person. I can be a good or a bad person as a gay or as a straight person. And so it was the fact that I'm gay and that I want to have a partner of the same sex, and that I always I never recognized this as a sin or as something bad. It's just as it is.
Ich bin homo, richtig homo, ich bin ganz verteufelt.